Hello everyone, this is Joshua Hatton of Single Cask Nation, coming at you today with a review of the latest whiskey to be bottled under the Single Cask Nation label. That whiskey is from Seattle's own Westland distillery, and this is cask number 736, and as you can see, it is bottled at 57.8% alcohol. Firstly, before I get into the review, I just wanted to thank everyone who reached out to me, whether it was on Facebook or by email, to let me know how much they enjoyed my reviews on the Bruichladdich 9-year-old and our undisclosed Isla 6-year-old matured in a PX Sherry Barrique. Your words meant a lot to me, and it also told me that chances are you want some more of these reviews, so here I am today going over this Westland. As most of you know, all of the whiskeys that we select have to pass our own tasting panel. We never bottle anything that is selected for us. Nothing has ever been selected for us. It has to pass our tasting test of nose, palate, finish. Does it work? Yes. Do we want to drink this on a regular basis? Yes, and we hope others want to as well. Is it affordable for our nation members? Yes, good, let's go with it. What makes this one a little different is the fact that it wasn't just our tasting panel that approved this, but we actually had 20 Single Cask Nation members go to the Westland distillery with us to help us select this cask. So how did that work? We pre-selected 3 individual casks of Westland single malt that we knew, regardless of what these 20 nation members selected, we knew that we would bottle them. We would bottle it. We fell in love with each individual cask. We've actually done this a couple of times before with our Glenmurray 11-year-old. We had 6 nation members in Scotland with us to select that cask. And for our Few Rye, the 2-year-old, we had 12 nation members help us at Few's Distillery in Evanston, Illinois. So now we had 20 Single Cask Nation members at Westland's Distillery helping us to select this. So what makes this one different from the previous Westlands that we released? That was me just pouring this, by the way. You may remember our 2-year-old. That's good. You may remember our 2-year-old. That was the first Westland we released. The mash bill on that was 100% peated Scottish barley, and that was matured in a first fill Oloroso sherry barrel. Not a butt, not a hogshead, but a barrel. The second Westland we released was a 3-year-old. That mash bill was 100% Washington pale malt, unpeated, and matured in an ex-bourbon cask, a Wild Turkey ex-bourbon cask to be specific. This one is completely different than those two, and really helps to show you the depth of all that Westland can do. So we'll go from peated, sherry matured, unpeated, ex-bourbon cask matured, and now this is Westland's 5 malt blend. So it's all malted barley, but 5 different types of malted barley, and matured in new charred oak. So in that 5 malt blend, you've got chocolate malt, Washington pale malt, extra special malt, Munich malt, and brown malt. And then on top of that, and this rings true for any distillate that comes off of Westland stills, they're using a Belgian brewer's yeast rather than distiller's yeast. That Belgian brewer's yeast is going to offer up really different flavors, more tropical fruit flavors. Banana comes to the fore for sure. So they're doing some things that really no other distillery is doing, and for us, it's quite fantastic, especially given that they're working with us and letting us buy casks. That's nice. But for everyone else, as whiskey lovers, enthusiasts, Westland is a great resource for discovering new styles of whiskey. So Cask number 736, again, 5 malt blend, new charred oak. And also their new charred oak casks are different than the new charred oak casks bourbon producers in Kentucky and Indiana use, because they're using casks that have staves that were dried in kilns rather than what Westland does, which are staves that have been air dried for 2 years. So those kiln-dried staves offer up nice astringent notes that you want to balance out a bourbon, to balance out that corn sweetness. But for single malt, having air-dried staves, it doesn't apply that astringency to the whiskey. It gives it a more mellowing, aging process, and actually works quite well with the single malt. So enough about Westland, enough about what they do, enough about the details of the single cask. Hopefully I explained it all. Let's talk about how this smells, tastes, and finishes. Wow. So off the bat, I've got notes of banana, of chocolate, of espresso coming out. No, more like coffee that's been spiked with a little something. If you've ever gotten bourbon cream or something like that and put that into your coffee, you know, it's that type of note. Some coconutty notes for sure. Almost smells like baked German bread, the brown bread. But that banana and chocolate note really it's up front for me. And it's not pricking my nose in any way. There's a slight, almost effervescent tingling in the nose, like you'd get if you were going to drink a glass of seltzer or soda, where the fizziness goes up your nose, but it's not hot in any way, which is something we look for in a single cask. We want the whiskey ready to go once you open up the bottle. There's great whiskeys out there that need water, but there's also great whiskeys out there that don't need water. And we selected this in part because it didn't need water. Though feel free once you get a bottle, should you get a bottle, to add water and play with it a little bit. It's 57.8% alcohol, so it can handle a little bit if you so wish to add it. Wow. It's quite clean. Again, that chocolatiness comes through the coffee, but there's a clean sort of quality to it. Not a cleaning supplies, but a clean note to it. Okay. It's like a handful of mixed nuts. It's really nutty off the bat. There's this sort of like baked fennel or anise seed note in there, and like a tamarind juice flavor. If you've ever had tamarind juice, it's a very sweet juice. This isn't as sweet as tamarind, but it has that flavor, that sort of rich, sweet flavor to it. Vanilla, chocolate covered taffy, like a Score bar, something like that, or Fifth Avenue. I get those two confused. Again, not hot on the nose, not hot on the palate whatsoever. It's almost too easy. But and by easy I don't mean a no-brainer whiskey. It just goes down easy. The mouthfeel is nice and oily. It envelops your tongue, coats your tongue. There's a lot going on. The finish is sticking with me. It's almost like this hot cocoa note on the back end there. All right, one more sip. That baked fennel note is a little more pronounced, but it's offset these sort of like brown spice, these sort of like baking spices on that finish. The chocolatey finish just goes on and on. Love it. So this whiskey is, it's bottled now, and now, by the way, today is June 7th, 2016. So it's just been bottled, and it is ready to be picked up to go to our warehouse, and we'll be shipping shortly, which means we'll be putting it up for sale shortly. We're going to do our best to bring a bottle of this to Whisky Jewbilee, New York, which is June 15. There's still a few tickets left, and Single Cask Nation members, of course, get the deepest discount there is on tickets to Whisky Jewbilee. So we're going to do our darndest to get a bottle of this to our festival. And that's it. I want to thank everybody for sticking around, for hearing the details on this whiskey, both in how it was selected, how it was produced, and then also how it tasted.